Hey everybody, this is Sheila with Designs for Baby Moon. I get asked not too infrequently lately if I'm ever worried that Chat GPT or the AI is going to take over what I do, which is write sewing patterns and create embroidery designs for people with embroidery machines. And I just want to go through a series of slides that I generated really quickly using images that Canva, which is a graphics program that I use for making quick little social media posts, and I do some design work in it. It's real quick and easy, which is why I like it. But it has some automated features, some AI features that crack me up, and I thought I would just share those with you tonight. So I've got my cat here on my back, and I'm just walking through these slides. So I gave the Canva um, magic media thing a prompt, and I said, generate me an image, or you plug in what you want. And I said, a lady working on a sewing project. So it brought this lovely gal up. And oh my gosh, I mean, there is indeed a lady, and she looks like she could be sewing. Um, but as I didn't tell it I wanted a graphic, I just put that in, and it gave me almost a photo. So this is, at first glance, could be a lady, but as we know, the AI doesn't quite understand what people really look like. So this is very uncanny valley. And if you zoom in a little bit to her hands, we don't really know what she's doing right there. So she's got her hands like this, and she could be holding a needle and thread. We really can't see it. But she's got some fabric in front of her. She's got her fingers positioned where she might be trying to either, put the thread in the eye of the needle, or maybe she's tying a knot. I'm not sure, but her hands, we don't really know what's going on. In fact, we can see that there's part of a finger over here. So that would be pinky, ring finger, middle finger, pointer finger, thumb, pointer, middle ring. Can't see her pinky over there. But I zoomed in a little bit, and it's almost like she's got 6 knuckles. So or 5 knuckles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So she's actually got 5 knuckles around the top of her hand. I only have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I had to count to make sure. Um, yeah, I mean, it's okay. We got a lady who's sewing. Let's see what else the AI gave us. Okay. This looks kind of like it could be the same gal. Her bangs are a little bit different, but you wake up, your hair is different every day, especially if you're curly. That is something that happens. So curly hair is different, really, pretty much every day. So she's got something else going on, and she's again got a piece of fabric, and I can see some thread. She's doing something with her hands on, and I do love her glasses. Those are cute glasses. So glasses people, take note, or glasses designers, those are cute glasses. I like that. Kind of a purpley with a little layered rim action there. It's kind of fun. Um anyway, I bet she made that shirt herself, because it's kind of made from the same fabric that the tablecloth fabric is underneath that piece of yellow white striped fabric that maybe she's sewing on. Maybe she's threading another needle, or I hope she's not, she didn't poke herself or something. She's not in pain or anything, but she's definitely, we're not quite sure what tools she's holding. I don't see any scissors. So maybe she's mimicking the idea of, threading the needle, or maybe she's showing somebody, demonstrating, trying to show them how to hold something. I don't know, but I thought let's add a sewing machine in there. So I had done this experiment a couple of months ago with the Canva AI thing, and I got some really bizarre pictures with sewing machines and people in them. And so I thought I would see if it's improved any. So I added, give me a middle-aged lady sewing on a sewing machine. Okay, that's all I gave it. And then I told it I wanted an image. So here we go. First of all, I'm middle-aged, and that lady looks a lot older than me. She looks like she could be, I don't know, a lot older than me. I'm well into middle age. So I kind of take offense at that. Not that there's nothing wrong with her. She's beautiful, actually, really lovely. Um, I'm really interested in this picture though, because that's a gorgeous machine. It's huge, um, especially for being the style of machine that it is. And she's sewing from the back. So if you're a sewing machine person, and I can't imagine that if you're watching this, you're watching for any other reason other than you know me and my obsession with sewing machines. So if you are a sewing machine person, then you automatically understand that she is sewing from the back of the machine. And that is really hard to do because the controls are all on the front. And it's feeding. So the way the machine works is it feeds actually towards her where she's sitting. And so the fabric would feed out the other way. So she would be sitting behind it. The machine is facing like how it would be facing if you were sitting at it to sew. I do like all the spools of thread though. Those are very nice. I think it's kind of funny that the spool, if you can see my mouse moving, the spool is aqua, but there's a red thread coming off of it. And oh my gosh, already we've got a problem because that thread is just hanging down. Even on I have an old Singer featherweight, it's 1951, and my thread doesn't just hang down. I've got a little apparatus where it loops up and then grabs right here. And there's all kinds of little tension doodads so that it catches right and feeds through the needle with the right amount of tension. It doesn't just droop anywhere. So I don't know what's up with that. It's pretty though. I do like all those decals on the machine. I think that's really pretty. Let's look at another one. Our hands are fine though. I did check her hands. Her hands are fine. She's got a lot of thread behind her. The perspective of the room's a little weird because I'm not sure if that cabinet behind her, do you see how there's a floorboard right there? I'm not really sure what her room looks like. So anyway, I didn't ask for a geographically correct room. I just said lady at a sewing machine. I got that. All right, let's see. Next. Oh, now this lady looks like she definitely could have been my grandma. She looks a lot like my grandmother, actually. And my grandmother even had a neat old sewing machine like that. She had a Singer Red Eye. I think it's really interesting, though, how I asked for a lady with a sewing machine. And this is a lady who is sitting at the end of the sewing machine. And I'm not really sure what the sewing machine is accomplishing there because it's not sewing. It's not even the kind of sewing machine that would be doing that work on a quilt like that. That looks like it's supposed to be a quilt underneath her or right, by that tabletop. I can't quite tell. I mean, I see swirls and I see some texture. It's really unclear as to what the pattern is supposed to be. Maybe, I don't really know. They're not they might be squares. It might have started out, I was trying to do squares, but even the way they curve around the edges of the table, those really aren't squares. So I'm not really sure what that is. Her shirt's cute though. She's got a nice watch. My grandmother would have worn a watch like that. And her hands they're okay. I'm not really sure what she's doing with her hands. And I wonder if she's sitting at the machine while somebody else is operating the machine, although we would be behind the machine from the way it's sitting right there. So if you think about it, if you've got your machine out and somebody else is visiting with you, they're sitting over there, they might be sitting right there. But if they're touching my project as I'm trying to work on it from that angle, they're in the way. So that's not going to work. And so I think the really interesting thing about it is I pulled these pictures and I just let the program do its thing, is that I don't think the AI really understands what people do when they're sewing. And that's really funny to me because it seems like there is a lot of sewing content on the internet right now, whether it's pictures that people put up of themselves sewing or videos that people put up of themselves sewing. I mean, there is a lot of sewing content. And so it's funny to me that we see lots of these old-timey kind of sewing machines in it. First of all, when we ask it for give us a sewing machine picture, it's always going to give us a cool old black one, pretty flowers on it. But anyway, so this That might be fine coffee chat time. I'm not going to put a quilt like this back underneath the sewing machine unless like I'm repairing something, but even then I'm not going to do it like that. So I'm not really sure what this was the AI was thinking when it put it out here. I did get a lady. She's older than middle-aged. She is sitting at a sewing machine. Not on the working side of it, but she's there. Okay, let's see. Here's another one. Okay, this, oh my gosh, this lady's beautiful. I love her headpiece. And the lace scarf that she's got. I think that's really pretty. That sewing machine is gorgeous, by the way. In fact, it looks an awful lot like the classic Singer, 19, oh gosh, I'm going to get the dates wrong. 1930s to 1960s, the style. Singer was making really beautiful sewing machines that lots of people had them. These machines still work. This one's obviously not a Singer machine, although the style of the machine is the same shape-ish kind of as the Singer, the 1951 featherweight that I have, although this one looks like it's probably embedded in a table, a nice white table. That's rare to see. Usually those tables were wood, but it's obvious it's not Singer because it doesn't say Singer on it, and I don't know what it says. But again, this sweet lady is working from the back side of the machine. I think it's really cool though, because this machine's got some light on it. You can see that the area where the needle is coming down, that part where her hands are, she's got one hand on top of the machine and one hand under the area that we would call the needle area. So the needle bar is there, the needle is there, the thread comes down through that area and you thread the needle, and then that's the business part of the sewing machine. You really don't want your hands right there unless you're changing the needle or changing the foot or positioning your fabric underneath the needle. Maybe you'd be changing the bobbin, but you wouldn't have all that stuff there. So I'm not sure exactly what she's supposed to be doing there. It looks like she's got a folded up chunk of fabric. Maybe it's the corner of that beautiful piece of fabric, but it's folded over. I'm not really sure what she's doing there. Maybe she's putting a tab on something. Maybe it's a back of something and she's repairing it. I'm not really sure. But regardless of what it is or why she's doing it, she's again behind the machine. So as you or I would sit at a machine to work on it, she is behind the machine. And there's not a lot of controls. I mean, you could access the foot pedal, but you can't really do a whole lot, especially because the fabric's going to be feeding toward her. And that way she's not in control. She's only receiving the fabric. She's not the one giving the fabric to the machine to use. Also, I'm not sure what this white line is. This seems to be like the program gave us a picture and it was like there must be thread coming across there on top of the machine somehow. And it's got a spool of red thread right there. Although there's maybe one of those little felt pads. My Singer featherweight does have a red felt that you put underneath the spool so it doesn't bang on the metal with the plastic or the wood of the spool. But this white line over here, maybe that's supposed to be the thread coming up and then over and then down into the take-up lever right here, but I'm not sure. And actually, if she had her arm over it like that, the thread would need to go over her arm because it would be caught. It wouldn't be the right tension. Either that or the thread's just going wackadoodle. It's just flying all over the place. So it's not going to be sewing very good. She can't sew from that angle well. And also the thread's not in the right place. So anyway, an attempt was made. Let's go to the next one. Oh my gosh, this girl's beautiful too. Again, though, she's sitting behind the machine. I think this is just so funny to me. I just crack up at the position of the sewist behind the machine as if she's diligently working. So again, another one of these older Singer style machines. You can see the decal work looks very much, it gives the impression of Singer, and especially with that little Art Deco style. I'm looking at the gold line right on the base plate of that. I can't really tell what all of this looks to be similar. Looks like there's this blue fabric. Okay, so we've got some light bluish aqua turquoise kind of fabric, and it's kind of all over the place, and it looks like it's kind of surrounding the machine. The area where the machine is sitting is surrounded by all this blue fabric, which would make it really hard to sew. If you're a sewer, someone who sews, you don't generally put your machine down on top of the fabric and then try to sew it because it won't move. I've got a spool of thread on top. I can even see on this picture, I can even see the red thread going across the top of the machine into some sort of apparatus where it can, be caught in the tension discs and then go down through the take-up lever maybe. I can't really see it, but we have something that looks pretty much like a sewing machine. Over here, though, this hand wheel kind of situation, sometimes those are hand crank and sometimes they're electric. And a machine that's this old, it could be a treadle machine too, where you would actually rock it with a bottom part with your foot. And then this looks like it could be the belt that when you do the foot pedal, it cycles the belt through this wheel, and then that is the motor of the machine. So it's a beautiful, simple, and very elegant process, a hand or people-powered machine, and works really great. They even still make machines like that. They don't necessarily need to be that black cast iron, situation, but there are modern treadle or modern non-electric machines that are still very, very cool. I don't know why you'd put it on top of your fabric though. And there's nothing wrong with it, but she's sewing with red thread on this aqua fabric. Actually doesn't look like the fabric is under her needle, and maybe she's fixing something, so maybe her thread broke, and maybe she's thinking about how to get that fabric out from under her machine so she can actually sew it. She's got red fabric there, red thread on top, so maybe we're in the middle of transitioning from the blue fabric to the red fabric. I don't know. She's really beautiful, though. Again, I would argue that she's a little bit older than middle-aged. Got a beef with you there, Canva. Okay, I changed the style of the images that it was giving me, and I asked it to do a graphic instead of, this is kind of like a photo, or it's supposed to be a photo. It's not a photo. Can't do that. Like, she couldn't be doing anything like that. It's too much weird stuff. And you can't sew like that. Did we already say that? You can't sew from the back of the machine like that. I mean, you could. Now I want to do a challenge where I have to sew from the back of the machine. I don't know. All right, let's look and see what they gave me next. Okay, now we've got another gal. Again, she's sitting behind the machine. This is a cool machine, though. So I love the color of it. I love the green peacock turquoisey thing. She's got her hand where you could be adjusting something around that needle bar area on her machine. I'm not sure what's on top of the thread spool. And anyway, I feel like I didn't quite get enough information. And I don't know how she's sitting on this chair when the base of it is way down here and her body where you'd need to be sitting would be up there. So although I do think they got one thing right. She doesn't appear to be wearing shoes. And if you are a sewing person like me, you might be part of the We Sew Without Shoes Club. And she obviously is. So they did know that. I think that's really cool. Let's see what else we got. Okay, we got another gal. Oh, she's not in my club. She sews with her shoes on. Can't do that. Man, if I can't ever find my shoes, they are in the sewing room or under my desk by my computer. I don't know why. Can't computer and I can't sew with shoes on. Either way, I can embroider, but you don't have a foot pedal to push with your foot. So you don't need to know how fast you're going because the embroidery machine takes care of all that for you. Okay, let's look at this machine though, because this is a cool machine. It's got lots of spool holders. So you could put a thread at the end, in the middle, closer to the needle bar area, and then right on top of the needle bar. Never seen one like that. I have seen machines where you have lots of places to put thread behind the machine. And as we're looking at this machine, we are sitting behind the machine. This gal is sitting at the end of the machine. So she's working on maybe the power cord. Maybe she's a tech. I have to get my machine tech friends to weigh in on what they think she's doing here. But it looks like she's got thread. And I have had the situation where I have gotten thread wound around that hand wheel, and it is like $300 to get that fixed. And I didn't ever want to have to do that again, except I did get it caught in there again. But I learned how to fix it myself because I wasn't going to pay $300 for that process again. Maybe that's what happened here. I could totally see her having to fix that if that's indeed what happened. I don't want to assume that. She may just have too much thread there. The black thread has gotten caught in the hand wheel, though. She's got 4 spools of red on top. It's not a serger. I don't know why she needs 4 spools of thread. But I don't know what she's doing either. Anyway, she's working on it. I think it's really cool how her needle has those 2 things. It's almost like the needle is prevented from going all the way down there. And this must be some sort of a chain stitch machine or something where you don't have a bobbin, because she doesn't even have space in there. Like there's no bottom part of the machine where she could be putting a bobbin in there. So maybe all the threads on the top, and it just makes a lock stitch kind of thing. It doesn't need a bobbin thread to catch up. So maybe those little bars kind of help the needle go the right depth so they don't go all the way through the table. Just guess. I don't know. Who knows? These are machines that have yet to be invented. Maybe that's what we've got. This table also is really cool because it only has these 2 legs over here. So I'm guessing that table itself is pretty heavy, or that machine is really counterbalanced, because this is just my experience. But the part where she's sitting is usually the heaviest part of the machine. So if this was a real machine, that table would be tipping over into her lap because it's too heavy on that side, and she's only got those 2 legs for the machine over there. And so I'm not sure how it's standing up unless there's some super heavy duty legs and it's really heavy over there. Maybe it's counterbalanced. I don't know. Let's see what else we got. All right. Oh, well, I have some feelings when I look at this picture, and I don't know that they're good. Let's see what we got. We've got thread in the window. I think maybe it's the thread in the window that's bugging me. I don't let my spools of thread sit in a window that's that bright and cheery, because thread and sunshine just sitting there, that makes me feel something. I don't feel good about that. I keep my threads in a drawer, and they're all in like rainbow orders. So I have like a purple drawer, a green drawer, a yellow drawer, a brown drawer. I don't open that one a lot. I have a metallic drawer. I have a variegated thread drawer. I have lots of different, colors. That's just for the small spools. The big spools all have their own. That's a whole other system. Serger thread drawer. I have a couple of sewing thread drawers. And then I have specialty threads. Like, we got lots of thread. I don't put it in the window, though. I don't ever put it in the window. And when I leave it out, like, it kind of is in a rotation. Like, I don't just leave thread out. The sunlight's not good for it. That bothers me a lot. I think the shelves also bother me. I don't know what's going on that top shelf right in the middle over the sewing machine. It looks like maybe she was getting lunch ready and just plopped the meat on top of that shelf. Maybe it's got a thaw. I don't know. Ew. I do like how she's got some art things up there, though. So that looks like a Lego thing. And I do have Legos in my sewing room. I have a Lego Sheila with a little sewing machine thing one of my kids made for me. It's a little sewing room and a little Lego set. It's really cute. Anyway, I keep that in my sewing room because it's cute. It's got a sewing thing in it. So it's sewing themed. This gal, though, we may have looked at enough pictures where that machine is oriented toward us as we would be sitting at it. But she's got her fabric, and it looks like a really pretty quilt that maybe she's working on. It's going to go in that room because it matches the colors of the wall and the wall decorations. See that print on the border? And maybe it's a quilt, maybe it's a tablecloth. but I don't know if it got stuck over there on that side of the machine, or maybe she's, got, I don't know. I don't know why it's over there, because the sewing part of the sewing machine is the other side of the machine, and she is not working on that. So, again, you would think with all of the pictures that we have of sewing machines and all of the sewing content that's on the internet, that the AI could figure out that the sewing part of the sewing machine is where you put the sewing stuff that you're going to sew, not on the motor, plug, bobbin winder area, all those parts of the machine. All right, let's go on. See if it gets any better. Does it get better? Does it get better? No, we've got another gal sitting behind her sewing machine. She's got some cute shelves, though. Those are cute shelves. And she even has a garment or a couple of hangers. Maybe she's been working on this dress over there. It's patchworky. I think it's really cool. Also, she's in the Barefoot Sewing Club. So yay for her. That sewing machine is super cute. It's got 2 spools of thread and a thing on it. I don't know if that's thread. It doesn't look like it's supposed to be thread. The dial's cute. That big pink dial with a white circle around it. Love that. Makes me want to do some cute embellishments to my machine. She is working on the business side of the machine, though. So she's got her hands and something going on over by the needle area. And so sewing-ish, but again, she's on the back side of the machine. I don't know what she's doing there. Her sewing room does look a lot like mine. There's a couple of projects on the floor. There's some stuff on the table. It's not really tidy over there. Got projects hanging up over there. Plant. If I had a plant on the floor, it wouldn't make it. There's no hope for me. So kudos to her for having live plants in her room, and they're still alive. They look really good. So good for her. Yeah. Let's see what's next. Oh, I changed the style. I said I told it to give me a graphic. And so again, we've got a nice old-fashioned machine. This is another one of those examples where AI just doesn't get it right. Her fingers, oh my gosh. I don't know what's happened, but yeah. It's more than a little disturbing. I don't know what happened there. Her fabric's on the right side of the needle stuff. She's sitting on at the machine. So if you were looking at somebody sewing and you were sitting on the other side of them at their sewing machine, this is the correct orientation. Okay, so we're better. She's got her hand on the hand wheel, which is where you would put your hand, especially if you were, either raising the needle because you needed to, lift the presser foot and get your stuff out. The apparatus for the tension discs are on the back side of the machine, though. So I don't have any of those on the back side of my machine. The back side is just empty. I've got the presser foot lever on the back of it, not that needle disc tension apparatus. That's on the other side of the machine. So that's a little odd. And also, I don't know, maybe that hand wheel is sharp because it chopped up all her fingers and gave her extra fingers and made them look like little sausages and hot dogs. So this is worse than an uncanny valley thing. This is something really awful. It also seems that the sewing function of the machine has gotten confused with the table that the machine is part of. So we are sewing part of the tablecloth through the machine. It's hard to tell because, again, the AI hasn't really studied those pictures of what sewing machines actually do and how they work and how the fabric goes under it. Maybe I'm just trying to help. Let's get some better pictures of sewing machines out there. Okay, let's look at this one. She's sitting at the machine in the correct orientation. So if you were looking at a girl sitting at the machine, she's operating the machine from the business side of it. So that's where I would be sitting if I was sewing on my sewing machine and you were sitting on the other side of the table. That sewing machine is really cute. It's got a rose fabric-y thing and a heart and some cool lettering, another heart. Maybe those are stickers. Maybe those are handmade things that are just kind of on the edge of the machine. Again, the tension discs and the apparatus for the take-up lever are all accessible from this back side of the machine, though. So she actually can't even thread her poor machine correctly. And if you look at this picture really closely, either she's working with really linty fabric and there's just dust flying everywhere, which can happen. If you haven't cleaned out your machine, let this be a warning and a reminder that you should be cleaning out your machine, taking care of it. You take care of your machine, they'll take care of you, and so well. But she hasn't, and so now the fuzz is flying. So that's kind of a situation. Clean your machines. I'm worried that her machine is actually unstitching more than it is stitching, though, because it looks like the fabric that she's got in her hand that she's going to feed into the machine under the needle is actually put together better than the fabric that's coming out on the other side, on our side. Like it's come through the machine underneath the needle toward us, and it's not sewn together as well as the fabric that she's got in her hands. I don't know. She's got a lot of materials to work with there, so maybe it's an unstitching thing. Maybe this is an unsewing machine because she's working in the back, unsewing. Her hair's cute though. Does she have earrings on? Can't really tell what her ears are. So this is kind of, I mean, it's a pretty picture though. That machine's cute. It's green, got the hearts and the roses on it. I like that. Makes me want to decorate mine, except for that incident that I told you about, that it cost me $300 to get all that thread out of the hand wheel. I would need to decorate it with stickers or markers or something solid, not anything made out of fiber, not on the machine itself, because I'm not doing that again. Okay, let's see what else is next. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. Look at that. Her machine matches her outfit. Are those peonies? I don't know, but they're gorgeous. Oh my goodness. That is just lovely. Okay. This machine, I can see a needle plate. Probably got room for a bobbin. It's inset into the table. It's kind of a squishy table, though. Look over there by the hand wheel. That looks like it's a little squishy over there. So maybe that table's kind of in need of some repair. This is really funny. It looks like they cut this picture out of a magazine, or it's supposed to look like you cut it out of a magazine. So it's kind of choppy, and it's like there was a background on it. But this is an AI-generated image, so I don't know where they would have gotten this picture because, again, you wouldn't be sewing or working. Well, she's not really working on anything. She doesn't have any fabric. There's green thread on the machine. How are her fingers? 1, 2, 3. Oh, boy. She's only got 3 fingers. I don't know where her other hand is. This machine looks innocent enough, but I'm worried that it eats fingers. And, again, the take-up lever or the tension discs are all on the front of it. I do have a screw just like that on my Singer, so that screw is very familiar. It holds the faceplate cover on. It's a really cool screw too. It's like not a regular screw. It's fancy. Yeah. So she's got one of those. That's a big chunk of thread. That doesn't even look like thread though. That really looks like cord or yarn. Something thicker. I don't know. Oh, is this the same girl? No, maybe she's a little different. So again, this picture looks like it was supposed to be cut out of a magazine. Although the machine's backwards. So the machine's backwards and she's looking like, where's my thread? I had thread. I had so much thread a minute ago. I've got the fabric under the needle. It's got flowers on it. Maybe we're putting the flowers on it. But we don't have any thread. Man, running out of thread, that's a thing. I don't really have anything to criticize her about. I'm worried that she's got her hands entirely too close to the needle bar. Keep your hands on either side of the needle, not like right under there like that. That's a little dangerous. Safety first. Oh, okay. I said let's take out the people. So maybe if they can't get the people right, maybe it could just let's just see if the AI can just get a sewing machine right. No people. You don't have to worry about people. Just give me a sewing machine. This one's pretty. I love that color. I also told it I could pick a style, and I picked dreamy. So this is a dreamy style. That's a beautiful color. Peacock blue, aqua. If I'm sitting in front of the sewing machine, this is correctly oriented to me. Um, Hand wheel. Okay. Thread on top. Over there on the left side of the machine, there's a tension disc. It looks like maybe there's some little doodads to wind it up through the, mechanisms. Maybe a take-up lever in there that you'd notch it into. I can't really see it, but the needle is down. So I don't know if the needle is down. I don't really see a presser foot. The presser foot's weird. If it has one, it's weird looking. And also, we've got some Escher-esque kind of perspectives here, like MC Escher, the modern weird optical illusion kind of drawings. That's what we've got here. We've got an MC Escher sewing machine where we've got the bed of the sewing machine up, the fabric kind of floating around and underneath. So we've got two platforms. That bed should be flat. So where it is down lower underneath the hand wheel and that control knob that's on the back side of the machine. I haven't ever seen one like that. Maybe there is one that was like that. I'll have to do some research. You've got your fabric, and again, it looks like this machine's sitting on top of the fabric. Don't do that. Like, don't put your machine down on top of the fabric that you're going to be working on. You don't have to work that hard. But then the other part of the machine underneath the needle has raised up some, and so now the fabric kind of flows all around and through that, and that's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be a mess. Also, there's a spool of thread on the behind the machine. It's pink. It's about to fall out the window, so you might want to get that. It's a pretty room though, really pretty. Ooh, here's another one. Ooh, wait. This one glows. This is like the magical sewing room. So that thread even glows. The machine glows and it's illuminated from the fibers. This is like a Rumpelstiltskin situation. Do you remember that story where he had the girl that he captured and she was to spin straw and turn it into gold? I think that's what this is. It's gold. Pretty. I wonder if she had a machine like this. So again, this is from the back side. So the knob for the tension discs is on the wrong side of the machine. The thread's over in the right place, and the thread is glowing. Got glowing thread, so maybe we're not spinning it. If I was sitting behind the machine and somebody was working on it, and there's fabric coming off, and it was glowing, I'd be really excited about that. But I don't want to put a bunch of yarn underneath the needle like it looks like this machine has, especially not a whole bunch of like loose yarn like that. Like it's still in its skein, but it's getting out of control really fast. And even if it's an old sewing machine, they still go pretty fast. It's going to be a mess, y'all. That is going to be a mess. No matter how much pink, shiny, gold, illuminated fabric you're making, that's going to be a mess. I'm not doing it. I don't know. I kind of want a glowy. I do like that glow though. Kind of pretty. All right, let's see if it gets any better. Does it get any better? No, it does not. What in the world is going on here? So this is a machine that makes its own fabric. It comes out from the machine and then falls in your lap. And then I'm not sure what you're supposed to do with it after that because it's coming all down. We did not make the curtains with this machine. We do not know what the situation with that hand wheel is. I don't know. That is really interesting. It's morphed into something really strange. That's for sure. That couldn't even work. Like if you know anything about sewing machine mechanics, like that oblong hand wheel is not going to turn. The thread's nice though. That pink and that green color, they do go good together. I do like that a lot. I'm not sure why the fabric is oozing out like that though. Something bad has happened here, though. Scary, scary times. Does it get better? Oh, rainbow quilt time. Rainbow quilt. I love a rainbow quilt. And, oh man, I thought we could sit at this machine. We're sitting in the right place. Like, it's really hard to sew the thing. I mean, like when you're working on a quilt, a big quilt, some of it's going to end up in your lap, especially when you've got a little tiny table like this. It's like the table is, the machine is part of the table. I guess I could see that. If you had like a semi-industrial kind of old-fashioned something. We've got a lot of cool colors of thread. I've never seen spools of thread like that. I think those are really cool. I really try to pick up all the spools of thread that are on the left side of the needle, though. So all those spools of thread with that big quilt, that quilt is going to knock those over as soon as you put it up underneath the needle. You're going to have thread all over the floor. So I like the quilt. It's a rainbow quilt. I like the fabric on the shelves in like rainbow order, although they put the green on the other side. And so I would have rearranged that rainbow order. And I don't know why they have 2 shelves of solids, maybe 3 shelves of solids. I wouldn't have done that either. But we have a sewing machine. It's sitting the right way. It's even threaded with pink thread, and you can see pink thread coming down underneath the needle bar. So they've been trying. I mean, they might have already knocked off some of those threads. That's why these threads are stacked over here. If you just put those threads in the drawer, you'll be all right. Let's see if it gets any better. I don't have a whole lot more of these, but let's just see. Oh, no, that's cute. It's an itty bitty machine. And it's got 2 spools of thread. I can put 2 spools on the top of mine. And the if you're sitting at the sewing machine, there's my cat. If you're sitting at the sewing machine, that's the way you would see it if you were getting ready to sew. The hand wheel's a little squished. It's hard to see. So some of these things, it's like the kind of stuff that you'd see in a dream, you know, when your dreams are weird and everything's out of shape and your perspective is skewed. So those spools that are all in the foreground, to me, they look like bobbins, which you use a bobbin in the bottom of your machine, except those bobbins are way too big for that machine. Okay. So maybe they're not bobbins. Maybe they're spools of yarn, although yarn won't really stay in that form without like something to hold it on the top or the bottom. I mean, that's going to be a mess. As soon as you touch that thread is all off, those spools right there. So I don't really know what they are. They're not like strips of fabric. I mean, it's obviously fiber going around a core. I'm not really sure what they are. It's too many. It's too many of whatever it is. I think it's really cool, though, how that pink thread on the top, as soon as it comes off the spool, though, as you can see it going through that little thread holder on the top, as soon as it comes off the spool, it's yellow. So it may look pink, but it's really yellow. And I'm in favor of magic thread like that. I think that could be a really cool thing. If we could zoom in, we could probably see some more weirdness. But again, I think they got to pick up that thread. Let's see if we can get any kind of more modern machines, though. We've seen a lot of these old-timey looking machines. I only have one of those. I have most of my machines are a little bit more modern looking. Let's see what we can find. There we go. We got a modern looking sewing machine. Oh my gosh, that's really cute. I mean, not modern, terribly modern. I mean, it looks like a machine. You could get a machine like that today. Or could you? Well, I think I'm just more confused. So, I'm looking at the hand wheel thing, and it looks like there's the hand wheel. So the hand wheel you can turn to make the needle bar go up and down, to let you adjust things that you might need to adjust. Maybe you need to raise the needle manually to get it in the right position for threading. But there's another dial right behind the hand wheel. Can't really tell what that's supposed to be. It's like the AI knew that sewing machines had knobs on the front, on the side. They had a wheel thing. Maybe they were like, let's give it an extra one just for good measure. There is the little grate, if you've got a fan or something in the motor of your machine. Airflow. Airflow is important. Um, some machines have this cute little accessory tray, which I've seen people refer to as the snack box. You can put your M&Ms or your Skittles in there. I don't do that. I got enough. I don't have a machine like that right now that I sew on regularly that has a snack tray in it. So maybe I'm just sore about that. I don't know. But this one maybe has a snack tray, but it looks like it's got a little space under the snack tray where you can stick all your scraps. So you get done, you're cutting stuff, apart, and then you just stuff your scraps right under there. I like it has a light underneath the snack tray too, so you don't lose your scraps under there. I guess it's a well lit machine. It's not very functional, but it is well lit. Let's go on. They could have turned that light on back there. I don't know why they didn't. They just have the glow of the machine and the under the snack cabinet light. Okay, let's see if it gets any better. Ooh. Ooh. This one makes me feel things too. So this is another one of those kind of scary construction model ones. So this one looks like it was made with Legos, but the kind of Legos that are the cheap Legos that melt in the sun. Like this was the no-name Legos left outside on the sidewalk on a hot South Texas summer day, and they melted a little bit, got a little squishy. Is that a ladder on top? I don't know why you'd need that. And also some of those pieces are lifting up. You might want to pat those down and click them back into place. Again, if we were looking at the machine, all those dials are on the wrong side of the machine. They should be on the other side of the machine because we're not going to sew from the back. And I wonder if somebody's ever tried to make a left-handed machine. I have lots of things to look up later. If you needed a left-handed sewing machine, I could see the advantage for that. I think it's really cool how it's sitting on like little fence, like little Coliseum bridges. Those are kind of cool. I don't know why you would need to do that. But it's cool. That's a lot of access underneath there. Again, you really can't sew on this because of the not flat nature of the bed of the machine, the part, where your fabric's going to go, because it's going to get all tangled up on there, especially if you're working with knits. A loose knit, you're not going to want to sew on that. I think there's just one more. Let's see. Yeah, there's just one more. Shall we look at the last one together? Let's look at it. Oh, this one's cute. It's cute and weird. So I think they got the thread thing. Let's just look at the threads on top. Look at all those colors. Those are cute. Cute old-fashioned spools. I love old spools. I have a whole jar of them. Every time I see them at like a antique store, I grab them. I'm like hoarding all of the old spools. I don't know why. I like them. So they've got some old spools up there. And I think they got confused with the little thread, the little thread path thing and telephone wires, because now we got thread going back and forth and back. So it looks like telephone wires in a place where they just added without thinking really of aesthetically how this was going to look in the neighborhood. Just put up another pole, put up more wires. It's fine. We don't need underground utilities here. The trees will cover it up. Yeah. And then again, we're sitting on the wrong side of the sewing machine. This is kind of cool though. This is like the double-decker couch from the Lego movie. That's what this is. This is a double-decker sewing machine. So maybe you could be sewing on the top and then you could sew on the bottom at the same time. Could you get twice as much done if you were doing it that way? I don't know. I think the bobbin area has oozed out of that top chunk and it's on the back of the machine. So I don't know how you access it, like right there. I can see that an attempt was made for the AI to get bobbin. We got to talk about the bobbin here. Let's talk about the bobbin. So that's what they were trying to do. Again, the whole thing's backwards. All the controls are on the back. The winding take up lever, going into the needle bar, all of that. It's all on the wrong side. So you've got two hand wheels though. So you could, I mean, can you imagine what you could get done with a double decker sewing machine? I, I'm I'm a little bit curious about that one in back though, because it's got those yarn, big balls of yarn, little spools of yarn on behind it. So that'd be kind of fun too. Maybe it's some new yarn couching technology that's kind of popular right now. So maybe it is. Okay, well, I hope you had fun with me looking at what AI thinks sewing is. I'm not worried about it taking my job today, and I just thought you'd be amused by it. I'm going to keep playing with it because until it gets it right, I'm not worried. Not worried. I don't think you should be worried about it taking over your job either. So, anyway, go get out there and make some stuff with your own hands in your own machine. Your machine's too expensive to just let it sit there not doing anything. Go make something with it. Make a mess and then make something pretty. All right. We'll talk to y'all later. Thanks for watching.